friends, my name is Jen and I love cookies. Today I am going to be rating my third cookie from Tubby's Taste, which is a Black-owned vegan bakery. The cookies that I have chosen to rate today are called the Speakeasy, and they are oatmeal rum raisin. I got 2 of them, and they're pretty small. I probably should start opening the package before I talk, but apparently that's not a thing I want to do. I used to do that, and then I stopped. Why? The world may never know. It's pretty small. I received 2 of them, so I'm ready here with both, just in case I need to eat both to get an opinion, because these are very small cookies. There's the hand scale. So you can definitely see some raisins in there, especially on the back. It's pretty thick for such a tiny cookie. I also see some specks here of things that look like a little bit lighter than raisins. I have the ingredient list right here. I suppose I could check. I wouldn't guess that it is either flax. It is flax. All right, thanks ingredient list for clearing that up for me real quick. So it does feel like pretty hard when I just squeeze it, but I'm guessing that this will be a situation where it's crumbly on the outside and softer on the inside. I suspect. I'm also really intrigued to notice if the rum makes a significant difference to the taste of this cookie. So let's find out. It's very interesting. So texture-wise, I'm gonna say it's crumbly all the way through, as opposed to being, it's not hard on the inside, but it's not soft. I would say it's crumbly. Crumbly all the way through this cookie. It has a lot of flavor. Definitely some of it is rum, but I think I'm tasting several other things as well. I did get a little bit of raisin in that one. Perhaps some of it is flax, which is probably being used in place of eggs. And I see there's also vanilla and cinnamon. But there's and they used coconut oil instead of butter. So I might be tasting a little bit of coconut. It's just like a very, very flavorful cookie. The rum is very noticeable. I'm kind of impressed actually, because I feel like every time I have made a baked good with alcohol, you can't really taste it that much. I can taste it in this cookie. So the second to last bite that I took didn't have any raisins in it, and I definitely think this is better in the bites where you have the raisins. They add a little bit of sweetness, which there is from the ingredient list. There's plenty of sugar in here, but I think that the raisins add like a little bit of extra sweetness that helps balance out the rum. Rum is actually my favorite liquor, so I like the taste of it, but it's almost like a little bit overpowering in this cookie. When you have the raisins with it, it balances it out very nicely, and I think it tastes very good. Without the raisins though, it's still not bad, it's just like not as good. Another thing that I think is really interesting about this cookie, I don't believe it contains nuts. It does not. But because it's crumbly all the way through, it sort of benefits from the texture that nuts would give it without having any, which is cool. I've never encountered that before in a cookie. And I also really like the texture that the raisins add to it. It's just like a very interesting cookie all around. Interesting flavor, interesting texture. There's a lot going on, but it's in a really good way that I really like. I don't think I'm gonna need to eat the second one, so let's get it a rating. Okay, so I generally like oatmeal raisin cookies. Of the 3 cookies I've tasted so far from Tubby's Taste, that was not intentional, these ones are definitely my favorite. I think that all of the cookies I've had are like are elevated. They're elevated cookies. They have some fancy ingredients, like the last one I tried had hibiscus. I would say that this one is elevated in a way that doesn't make it too fancy for me. I don't like really fancy food. It's too much for me. This one was still like comforting and warm in the way that an oatmeal raisin cookie should be, but it also just had like some extra special flair to it that made it really interesting and that I really liked. The texture was solid, not too dry or anything. The flavor was really interesting, exciting. It stood out in my mind as like a particularly unique oatmeal raisin cookie. So I really liked this one. I think I'm gonna go with an 8.3. So that was the Speakeasy cookie from Tubby's Taste, which was oatmeal rum raisin. And I gave it an 8.3. If you like watching me talk about cookies, please like, comment, and or subscribe below. Thank you for watching. Have a fantastic day and eat more cookies.